Okay, let's do another division problem. What happens, you're going to have to bear with me because it's taking a little bit for it to get up on the projector. If you're dividing with a mixed number, so like let's say it's 5 and a third, what do you need to do with any mixed number before you start working with it? Good, you have to turn it into an improper fraction so that you only have one number on the top and one number on the bottom. So 5 and 1/3 would become what? 16. Good. You would go 3 times 5 is 15 plus your numerator, which is 16. And then you keep your denominator. All right, so 5 and 1/3, you need to go 3 times 5 is 15 plus your 1 becomes 16, and then you keep your denominator. So it becomes 16 over 3. Divided by a -7. We want to turn it into a multiplication problem. So -7 as a fraction would be -7 over 1. But I want to multiply by the reciprocal of -7. So then it's going to be a -1 over 7. Can I cross simplify? No. 16 and 7 don't share anything. 1 and 3 don't share anything. So I'm going to go multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. Don't forget to do your integer rules. A positive times a negative is a negative. So make sure you put a negative on your final answer, your final product. And then can you simplify 16 and 21 any further? No, it's already simplified. Okay, so you're going to have to excuse the lines that are right there because that's for me trying to connect it to my computer. When dividing a decimal by a decimal, you can multiply both of the numbers by a power of 10 so that you are able to get a divisor as a whole number. So you can divide by a whole number. To decide which power of 10 to multiply, you need to look at your denominator, and that's the number of decimal places that you will move. The reason is if I kept 1 and 32/100 divided by 4/10, what do you have to do before you can start dividing? Move the decimal. If you move your decimal in your divisor, you have to move it the same number of jumps in your dividend. So then it becomes 13.2 divided by 4. Okay, so what it's saying is you can just maintain this in this format. So when you look at 1 and 32/100 divided by 4/10, look at your divisor. Your divisor is what number? The bottom one, 4/10. How many jumps will you have to move it in order to make it a whole number? 1. So that's multiplying by what power of 10? 10. Ben, move over here, please. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 and 32/100 times 10 and 4/10 times 10. So then it becomes 13.2 divided by 4. Now it's an easier problem to divide. And at this point, you would place your first digit. You would place your decimal. 13 divided by 4 is 3. Multiply. Subtract. Bring down. Divide. Multiply. Subtract. And then you're finished. So your quotient, your final answer is 3 and 3/10. Good. All right, so look at the next one. It says 7 and 48/100 divided by 4/10. Look at that divisor. How many decimal jumps do you need to make it a whole number? 1 jump. So that's multiplying by 10. So I'm going to multiply by 10. I'm going to multiply by 10. So then it becomes, move your decimal 1 jump, 74 and 8/10 divided by 4. Now you can set it up. 74 and 8/10 divided by 4. Place your first digit. It will go into 7. And place your decimal. 4 goes into 7 how many times? Multiply. Subtract. Bring down. Divide. Multiply. Subtract. Bring down. Divide. Multiply. Subtract, and you can't bring down, you're done, because now it came out even. So our final answer is 18 and 7/10. Any questions on that? All right. Next one. It says evaluate each expression for the given value of the variable. So this time they have 7 2/10 divided by n if n equals what? A negative 24 hundredths. So then you need to plug in before you start solving. So we plug in as 7 2/10 divided by a negative 24 hundredths. Do we have a decimal in our divisor? Our divisor is the bottom number. Is it a decimal? Yes. We need to make it a whole number. We need to move it how many times? 2 times, which is what power of 10? 100. So we're going to multiply by 100, multiply by 100. Move your decimal twice. It becomes what number?
700.
Very good. 720. Move it twice down here. Keep its sign. Okay, so now we have 720 divided by a negative 24. Place your first digit above the 2. How many times will, just treat it as a whole number, 24. How many times will 24 go into 72? Let's try 3. And the reason I'm going to try 3 is in my head I can think 3 times 4 will carry a 1, right? And 3 times 2 is 60s. And I have to increase to the 70s, but I had 3 times 4, which is 2, so it's going to come out even.
So we know 2 goes into 2 would go into because 4 and 0 are even.
3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, subtract, 0, bring down. If you bring down, you have to go back up and divide. Okay, so you have to go 0 divided by 24, which is 0, and then you multiply, and now you are done because there's nothing else to bring down. A lot of times if you subtract and you get 0, people want to just stop, even though there is a number that still needs to be brought down. Okay, you have to maintain your integer rules. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. Good. Okay, the next one is m divided by 5/24 if m equals 3 3/4. So the first thing that you have to do is plug in and rewrite. So then it becomes 3 3/4 divided by 5/24. And then you need to rewrite it as multiplying by the reciprocal of. What do you have to do to your 3 3/4? Mixed number into an improper fraction. 3 times 4, 12, plus 3 is 15. Keep it over the same denominator, 15/4. Times the reciprocal of 24 over 5. Can you cross simplify before you multiply? Sure. 5 and 15 share 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Do 4 and 24 share a number? 4. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. Multiply across the top. 18. Multiply across the bottom. 1. Simplify. 18. Okay? When you are multiplying and dividing with fractions, you can work in horizontal format. But things change when you start adding and subtracting fractions. If you're adding and subtracting fractions, you need to work in vertical format. Because remember, you have to convert to a common denominator. So for right now, we're just working horizontally. That's fine. The next lesson, we're going to have to start working vertically, up and down. Okay, let's go through this problem. We still have time. Okay, it says Ella ate 2/3 cup of low-fat yogurt. The serving size listed on the container is 6 ounces, or 3/4 of a cup. How many servings did Ella eat? How many calories did Ella eat? So you're asked to find two problems. It says the number of calories Ella ate is the number of calories in the fraction of the serving. So it says, list what you need. What information are you going to need? You need to know that Ella ate 2/3 of a cup. You need to know that a full serving is 3/4 of a cup. And then you need to know that there are 100 calories in one serving. And it tells you that right here on your yogurt. So to set up this equation, you need to write down the amount that Ella ate, which was 2/3. You needed to divide it by the serving size, which is 3/4. That will tell you the number of servings. So that's right here, 2/3 divided by 3/4. Write it as a multiplication problem. 2/3 times the reciprocal of 4/3. Multiply across the top. Multiply across the bottom. 8/9 equals the number of servings that she ate. So did she eat a full serving? No, just under a full serving. Then it says, using the number of servings, you need to multiply it by how many calories there are per serving. So we're going to take 8/9, the number of servings, times how many calories were in one serving? 100. Put it over 1. Multiply across the top. Multiply across the bottom. And then simplify. So if you did this as a division problem, you're going to place your first digit. 9 times 8 is 72. Subtract. Bring down. What's happening? It's 8 repeating, so it would be 0.8 repeating. So that will equal the number of calories that Ella is eating. Are there any questions on that? Okay, make sure that you take the reciprocal of and that you're turning division problems for fractions into multiplication problems by going multiply by the reciprocal of.